Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio. I'm your host, Deborah Bailey. And when I started this show in 2008, I was on a mission to promote women-owned businesses and help women succeed by providing resources and valuable tips from other women and men, small business owners. In each interview, my guests speak openly about their triumphs, the scary times, and tough decisions they had to make along the way. Women Entrepreneurs Radio is about showing women how to harness their natural strengths to achieve success on their own terms. Hi everyone, welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio, and I'm your host, Deborah Bailey. I'm really glad that you could join us today. And if you're listening to this on Podomatic or iTunes, please make sure that you share your feedback and reviews, because that will always help the show reach down by more people. So please make sure that you take a moment and share your thoughts about the show on one of those platforms. That would really be appreciated. So today I'm going to introduce a returning guest. Ling Wong is an Intuitive Brainiac, creativity mentor, and copywriting alchemist. Through her unique blend of marketing coaching, content strategy, and copywriting process, she helps the maverick-preneurs uncover, articulate, and transform their why into content that connects, resonates, and converts by way of an intuitive yet rigorous iterative process born out of her Harvard Design School training and 15 years experience in the online marketing industry. Ling is inbound marketing, content marketing, and email marketing certified. Through her writing engagements with various software as a service and marketing companies with the goals of driving organic traffic, building readership, and increasing conversion, she's well-versed in topics including online marketing, content marketing, e-commerce, conversion, UX, social media marketing, and more. She helps coaches, consultants, service professionals, solopreneurs, and small businesses apply these best practices to their specific business models and circumstances. And she's also author of the new book, Copywriting Alchemy, Secrets to Turning a Powerful Personal Brand into Content That Sells. So welcome back to the show, Ling.
Hi, Dev. Thanks for having me again. Great to be here.
Well, I'm so glad you come back. I'm really excited about the book, and I took a look at it. For those of you who haven't checked it out yet, please make sure that you do. Come listen to this show. It's certainly been on Amazon, but it might just be a lot of other places as well. So, you heard it here first. It's really going to blow up into a lot of different media. So I hope that you can take a look and learn from Ling. But I'm really excited about this because a lot of people are figuring out content really is the way to go, and also how to create the brand and line everything up. So this sounds like a perfect book. What led you to say, I need to write this book right now. I need to get this out here?
It's kind of like everybody. It's like, I have a book. I want to write a book. So it's been going on for 2 years. I haven't done anything. Sound familiar, eh?
Yes.
So it's not like, a light bulb just went off, but the short story is kind of like, I've worked with a lot of clients, and, I started out working with coaching clients, and what I help them with is getting the clarity, building that, seeing how they're different and positioning themselves. So while most of my clients continue to build thriving businesses on the foundations that we built, if you walk away with the clarity, but still had nothing to show for it, say 3 months later or 6 months later when I check in with them. And that drove me nuts. So, it's just, for me, it's not just like, working with a client, give you a bunch of stuff and good luck with that. I really see it as a co-creation process. So I'm really dying to see the aha moments, the clarity, that, that fire that translated into content and offering that they could really put out into the world as an expression of their values, their convictions, personality, life experiences, skills, and talents. So when they revert back to cookie cutter copy and hopping back onto the marketing hamster wheel, it really kills me. So I started writing copy for them, and they loved it. So that's when I actually started out, okay, writing copy is not just writing copy. It is a process of discovery. It is a process of clarity. It is a process of declaring, how you're going to create meaning and deliver value through your business. And through the process, it's not just sort of an afterthought. It is not like, okay, now I have this product or service, I need to slap a sales page on it. It's really about you're developing, you're creating and you're developing your message, your product, your service as you are finding the words to articulate your relevance and why you matter.
Wow. That is so true, because it is particularly when you're talking to coaches, consultants, solopreneurs, small business owners, this is definitely what people need, because I'm sure, as you're saying, it's frustrating to see that you're searching for a service provider and everybody's copy sounds the same.
Yep.
You can't tell one from the other.
And this is very frustrating for my clients as well. So as a little backstory is that as I would start doing this, and the reason that I really see having a personal brand as a foundation for standout copy is that I started to get, more sort of business and marketing savvy clients. They have done, they have hired copywriters. They have done the training. They have bought the programs. And their frustration is not like they have okay copy. Their frustration is that they still sound like everybody else, and they know they have more to give.
Yeah, that's definitely the problem. I think a lot of people ended up trying to copy maybe what someone else in their industry was doing, and then, but for the person who's looking for that service, there's nothing that stands out. There's nothing that says this person is going to offer me what I want because they sound just like the next person. And then the business person, as you said, is frustrated because they really don't know how to stand out either. And how to be seen differently. But, is there just different things that a person needs to put into their copy? Is there any important things that we have to be sure that we include?
I always like to tell my clients that there's no template, there's no cookie cutter formula, because every person is different.
Yes.
You really want to make, tell people why you're different. And part of it is really celebrating you as a personal brand and celebrating you as an individual. Like what you bring to the table is not only your expertise, it's not only that surface, but everything that frames that surface, how you approach it, and what brings you to it. Because people, when they read copy, they don't just say, okay, I need a copywriter. If you just say, I want a copywriter, you go to Fiverr, $5 for 5 dozen, right? But if you want to find someone that, that would see eye to eye as you do, so that the things that you create together, the things that you get actually reflect who you are, you would trust this person. What creates trust and credibility and eventually conversion is that resonance. And you cannot create a deep resonance without sharing your personal brand, sharing who you are. And for me, it is I would define it as that your essence, combination of the values, convictions, personality, skills, life experiences, and talents that you bring to the table. And that, create this uniqueness that would make people resonate with you and say, I trust this person because we have something in common. And I can trust that, the product or services that he or she delivers will be in alignment with who I am.
That's true. That's true. That's a great point. So it from what I've read about your book, and it looks as though it's really a guide to help people to walk through how they can create their message.
Yep. I mean, a lot of people say it is a message, right? But for me, that's like, there are different layers to dig into that builds up to that message or builds up to what you offer and how you say it. And how I see it is like it builds on layer after layers. And unless the previous layer is solid, you're building on quicksand. For example, in the way that I see it, I have 5 layers of a powerful personal brand. And your expertise is actually the 4th layer. And if you don't get the foundation right, then you're just selling a service that can easily get lost in a sea of competition.
Wow. So is it really hard to go through the process to build that foundation, do you think?
Yes and no. It is not hard in the sense, I got 5 layers. I have laid it out. But the difficult part is, you really have to be honest with yourself. You cannot let yourself get away with, sound bites and, regurgitated answers, because we have all done those, customer avatars and those marketing exercise, right? And a lot of people is just so sick of it. Like, don't make me do another one of these ideal client profiles. The reason being that you're not digging, you just like, put down some canned answers and let yourself get away with it.
That's true. I've seen those things over and over again. I think that's definitely what people do. They really don't dig deep. They just kind of put, as you said, the canned answers down there, and then everybody's canned answers kind of looks the same too.
Yeah, exactly. And you might as well not do the exercise because you are actually sending yourself in circles. Right.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's true. But I think, as you said, people are so used to doing the same things over and over. They don't realize that maybe there's a better way to do it.
The question, I ask, there's only so many questions you can ask people, ask clients, right? I think it is the next layer that will reveal what is underneath is my clients can never get away with the first round of answers. It's really about digging deep and saying, is that really true, right? What does it look like specifically for you? Or, why is it that? Like, why are you using these, why are you using this word? Why are you using this term? Like, for a lot of life coaches, I don't know, it's so prevalent in the life coaching industry. For example, there's a lot of, jargons and terms that, for the slightly initiated, it's like, oh my God, it's that again. That kinds of words. And it's really about questioning the usage of the words and the phrases and say, what do you really mean behind that? And when you're willing to get specific, then, the rest just unravel, right? Why are you doing this? Right. What is really important for you to do this? Or, why is it important to the people that you are talking to?
Yes.
And that, that answers the question of niche, answers the question of ideal clients. Because you force yourself to be specific.
That's true. Yeah, I think sometimes people are afraid to be too specific. Some people say, oh, if I'm too specific, then I'm going to chase people away, and they're afraid not to appeal to everyone. And, you can't appeal to everyone.
No, you can't. And, it's so, I like this example that I heard from somewhere, so I'm just using it. I don't have facts to back it up, but I heard that, a small town coach who works with pole dancers was able to make a 6-figure income. Teaching pole dancers to market themselves. Like, I don't know if that's true, but it's like you can get that specific.
Right. Well, that's a good point, because if you were specific to who you're appealing to, and those people are looking for just that thing, they're going to come to you.
Absolutely. And it just, most people these days are having their businesses online.
Yes.
And guys, it's a very big world.
Yes.
So you probably, if you are passionate about something, if you think there's something, and if you have done, even done some preliminary marketing research, you would know if there's a market, or you're really such a weirdo that you're the only one who cares about that. And if you are local, and if you have a local business, then your specificity may not be, be so niche, but you can be specific about your geographic location. That is one way to get specific as well.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I guess I hadn't really thought about that, but it's kind of obvious. And yeah, that's excellent. I think hopefully people are taking all this in, because that's something that was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely. But, you're talking about, one of the things that you do also in your book is help people, you give them directives to turn their personal brand into powerful marketing content. That's really possible for us to take our personal branding and really use that as our strength.
I think it's inevitable if you want your copy to stand out, because people want to, and like we said, right, especially for coaches, consultants, service professionals, when you want to go above and beyond providing a commodity, you need to build that trust and credibility and distinguish yourself. So I think it's inevitable that you would come through one way or the other if you don't want to blend in.
Right.
And I think it's so important that, really it's about building that human connection.
Yeah.
I like to say is that, at the end of the day, sales and marketing is one person at one end communicating with the other person at the other end.
Yes. Yes, I agree. And that's something I think business people can lose sight of, because they're just caught in the business part, but they don't realize, especially we're talking about solopreneurs a lot of times, small business owners, they kind of forget, or we forget that, it's a person-to-person thing. It's not just the business that you're kind of hiding behind and putting that out there, but you're not putting yourself into it.
Yeah, unless you're Coca-Cola, right?
Right.
Even a lot of brands, they have a face associated with it, right?
Yes.
Or a gecko associated with it.
Yes.
And so, yes, people lose sight and people forget, but I think there's also a mindset or a fear factor behind it. Like, that people hide behind a logo, a fancy website, looking like everybody else, being, falling into the trap of conformity.
Yes.
A lot of it is fear. You don't want to stick out. You don't want to look unprofessional, quote unquote unprofessional, if you put your smiley face on it, or, once in a while talk about, what you did over the weekend, right?
Yeah.
That people feel like, they can relate to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once I sign up to a coaching program, I mean, I like that coach. I think she's doing really good work, but also she did she did a charity ride across Africa.
Mm.
And that is the point where I say, I like her style.
Right. And she wasn't afraid to let people know what else she was doing.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's like that personality that say, if she's doing these kind of things out there, I can probably relate to the way that she does other things.
Yes. Yes. That's true. That's a good point. It really wasn't that long ago. I don't know now, maybe more like 8 to 10 years ago. I know when I came out of, corporate, the idea was you're supposed to always make it look like your business is bigger than it is. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to hide behind that idea and not reveal yourself and who you are. So it's kind of interesting to see the changes that have happened in a relatively short amount of time, where it's more to your advantage to have your personal brand.
Absolutely. And I think, and I think the tide is changing, that, people starting to, with the online, with the digital marketing and with, the online business really blooming.
Yeah.
There's more and more people doing their own thing, really, being experimental and trying these things out, and they're not afraid to say, just put it all out there. Yeah. And people can relate to that. Mm-hmm. And there's a new way of, consumers relating to people that they work with, is that they don't want to feel like you're just this giant, faceless, big brand. They want to see that you are a human being, a living, breathing human being, just like they are.
Right. That's true.
And I think also it's because of the rise of community.
Yeah.
In the online marketing space, is when community is taking center stage in not just selling, but, building advocacy, really building that relationship, right? It's not like I sell you something and goodbye.
Yeah.
A team of loyal fans, how you get people to tell people about, how to let's say how to get your product or services go viral, right? Mm-hmm. It depends on the community. Yes. And the community does not relate to a logo. The community relate to a person.
Yes. Yeah. You're right. That's very true. And I think that's what probably a lot of small business owners and people really have to catch on to, because there's been so much emphasis on branding, but not like what you're talking about, but more branding like, well, my website looks a certain way and I'm using these colors and and the appearances, but it's not so much the branding of the person, and this is what I stand for, and this is who I am, and I'm going to create this relationship for you to trust me.
And I mean, this personal brand is actually the basis of all the design that you just talked about.
Yes.
How do you want to show up in your business? Like, yes. You're not going to, I mean, tell me if this is ass backward, right? You randomly hire a designer for $30 an hour, and you let him or her slap colors on you.
Yes.
Right? It just seems kind of ass backward. I don't know how to say it. It's like, you have to figure out how you want to show up in your business first before you can design a brand that really speaks to you and speak to your audience, right?
Right.
And this also, and this is what really bugs me, is people, and I'm going a little bit into the other things I also do is, website and content strategy is, when you ask, how do you want people to experience you as a brand?
Yeah.
That informs how your website is being structured. That informs how you design a user experience. And let me tell you why this is important. Now you get me all riled up on this.
Yes.
People come to me, they're like, should I install this bells and, this bell or that whistle on my website?
Mm-hmm.
Do I do this click funnel thing, or do I do that, upsell, downsell, cross-sell, labyrinth with 75 permutation?
Mm-hmm.
And they are letting the technology drive how people experience their brand.
Mm. Wow.
So, and they're wasting money, they're wasting time, and they're not, they're just sending their customers or clients through the labyrinth of all these technology stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of having them, experience you as the brand.
Yeah.
Building the trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have this solid answer to how you want to show up in your business, then you can create that user experience. What do you want people to do? Like, if you are selling high-end consulting, right? Mm-hmm. Why do you want people to go through that, upsell, downsell, cross-sell funnel?
Mm.
You want people to get to know you and talk to you, right?
Yeah.
Just pick up the damn phone, right? So what is the shortest path to that?
Yes.
So that is what this personal brand is about. It really informs how you craft this experience to get to your business goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it really helps you take away a lot of busy work and, wasted time and money on things that you don't need.
Yes, that's a good point. That's a good point. And you make an excellent point as far as the technology driving what people are doing, and they're kind of forgetting the human factor.
Mm-hmm.
They're just relying on that, because I know, for instance, that I go to a lot of websites, I'm sure you do too, that now everything is a pop-up.
Mm-hmm.
And it annoys me when it pops up, and I'm like, for my first inclination just to close it down and leave, because I don't have a chance to know who you are yet, and poof, the pop-up is telling me to sign up for this or that. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, I didn't really get a chance to even know what's going on here. So it's almost like when you go to the store and someone runs up and asks, can I help you, before you even step inside, you feel like, hey, wait a minute. Let me at least look around first, let me see what's going on. I think your first inclination is to kind of step back from that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that the technology thing, as you're saying, that's what that reminds me of. You don't have the space yet to really know what's going on around you, and someone's automatically kind of giving you some pressure.
Yeah.
To do something before I even really know who you are and what you're about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I definitely see that. And, something else that I see that I kind of find a little annoying is, for some people, they're every bit of coffee is dropping the F-bomb and a lot of slang, because I have to show I'm down. And I'm like, after a while, a lot of this is going to look really old, because slang, like a lot of other references, changes so quickly that today you may think you're hip, but, by next week it can look really tired. So, if that's your customer, fine. But if you're just doing it because you're trying to appear to be something you're not, a lot of times it comes across as really forced.
Yeah, I think, smart customers, smart readers can see through, can see through, like, oh, you're just doing this to get attention.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I think you can tell when people are really saying, this is who I am. Mm-hmm. And when people are just doing things because, oh, this is the thing I should do now.
Yeah.
I think you can tell.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things that, being honest and that's what I call honest marketing, is that, there's an alignment all the way from who you are, what you believe, to the things that you put out into the world, be it your copy or your offer.
Yes.
And this alignment, it is the energy behind, it's not the words, but how you say it. I had a client, a while back. We had only one session, and we didn't even get to the marketing, the strategy, the tactics. And then she had the second best day in sales.
Wow.
And it's just the difference is how she be in her business, how she talk about her stuff, how she talks about her products. She is talking about how she's bringing herself, her vision and her values into the conversation instead of what a sales conversation should sound like.
Yes, that's true. That's an excellent point. Because I know that everyone, has been to meetings or something where people start to talk about what they do, and it just starts to sound really cookie cutter. And it sometimes you don't even remember because one sounds like the other, and it doesn't sound like they have real conviction about what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's a great point to make. So we're going to take a very, very quick break, and we'll be right back. Law Depot is a leading publisher of do-it-yourself legal documents. They offer state-specific business documents that can be completed within minutes. Visit womenentrepreneursecrets.com for your exclusive 5% discount off all documents. Simply click on Legal Forms in the top menu to get to the selection of documents for the busy entrepreneur. Don't see the document you want listed? No problem. Just click on any link and it'll take you to the Law Depot site, and you can see the entire selection. Forms include estate planning, business forms, family, financial, and real estate. There's a lot there on the site. And when you go through the womenentrepreneursecrets.com link, you'll receive your 5% discount. That's Law Depot, the leading publisher of do-it-yourself legal documents. Hi everyone, and we're back with Ling Wong, and she's the author of Copywriting Alchemy, Secrets to Turning a Powerful Personal Brand into Content That Sells. And we've been having a really terrific conversation about branding and content and how you can really be yourself. My goodness. It's about time. It's about time that people felt like, okay, I'm free. I could just let it all go and be who I'm going to be here, because my goodness, it just kind of gets kind of crazy, for people pretending to be something, that they are not, but I know that, you're talking about branding and content, and I have, talked to people, on the show who say, well, with social media, they'll have different accounts, maybe for different parts of their business, and things like that. Do you recommend that people really carry over all of this into all their social media accounts?
I would say that there needs to be a consistency.
Yes.
Definitely, because consistency builds trust, and trust brings you client. So, it's not like, I think, there are different social media platforms, and definitely maybe a slightly different, sort of way that people interact, slightly different audience maybe, or slightly different things that you want to emphasize. But I think the core needs to be still there, because at the end of the day, you want to drive traffic to your website. And if the thing that they see on the website and the thing they see on social media is incongruent, you lose trust.
Yeah, that's a good point. And with so many different social media platforms at this point, that you could see how that can happen, how it can be kind of a challenge when people are on many platforms, and then they really feel that, I really have to line everything up. So that, yes.
Don't outsource your voice.
Yes. Yes. That's important too, because I know a lot of people do that. So a lot of big brands have been, gotten into trouble because they've let other people, maybe hire other people to manage things, and then they say or do something online that isn't too good. Yeah. And then now there's a lot of fallout. So, I think you really have to be careful about how you're, presenting yourself, what you're saying, and make sure, like you said, that it's consistent. Mm-hmm. One thing that I just wanted to mention quickly is since you're an author, is that for a lot of people, who write fiction, there's a lot of idea of branding and things like that as well. And what I find, which I think is interesting, I'm not really sure what to think of it, is that sometimes people will, create, pen names, and maybe they're writing in a different genre. Mm-hmm. And I know I read an article about someone who, had been writing in one genre, like say mystery, but then she was like, well, she wanted to try another one where there was a lot of readers, but maybe the publishing industry wasn't paying a lot of attention because they consider it too small, a niche. So she created, she kind of read up on what kind of books would fit into that genre, and she started writing, stories. But then she also created a persona online, for the author, description, who the author is. Mm-hmm. And she created this whole persona. That really isn't her, but it's the author. It fits with the pen name. It probably fits what the people expect in that genre. And I thought that was kind of interesting. On one hand, I'm like, well, that's not really you. But on the other hand, I'm like, well, I guess that's what people expect. So, I say all that to say, I mean, do you ever have clients that say, well, I can't really be who I am. I've got to be this other person because that's what I think people want?
I think some people, the truth is I think they will probably get scared away by my approach before they become a client. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just going to be an uphill battle. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's slightly different when you're writing fiction, right? Mm-hmm. You can live in this fictional world and present a fictional world to your readers. But if you are doing work as you, right, selling your professional services or selling coaching, right, it is it's very difficult to, you're going to get schizo, like drive you crazy. It's really, it's an unpleasant way, day in, day out, 5 years, 10 years, to pretend to be someone you're not. Yeah. And it's going to come through. Like, when you're being someone different online and when people get on the phone with you, something is going to give.
Yeah, I agree.
And like I said, right, consistency and congruence is the thing that builds trust. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just 10 times, 20 times, 100 times easier if you're just being who you are.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, and this will build a more sustainable business because you won't be like saying like, oh my God, I have to put on that mask and that hat and that other person, 10 hours a day.
Right. Well, that's a good point because, my personal feeling is I was mentioning before about years ago how people came out into doing a business. The idea was to pretend that the business is bigger, there's more people working with you or for you. And I think a lot of something else that was also problematic is with a lot of the so-called gurus who all seem to present a certain lifestyle. They all seem to be all successful and everybody's got a lot of money and they were at the beach and traveling the world and everything is just getting done somehow. You're aware of that as well. People present a persona and everybody felt like, oh, I want that life. Mm-hmm. And so I can understand why people would run to try to recreate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's really it just kind of make me feel sad when I'm just tired of it. You go to Facebook and all these like, rosy, the rosy view of whatever, like 6-figure business and whatnot.
Yeah.
And when you look under the hood, it's not so rosy. It is an highly edited, representation of, maybe that's what they want to see themselves.
That's true.
And when you look under the hood, there are stuff that is, they're just like everybody else.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. I think that a lot of people bought into it, and I can understand that. It looks better. Maybe we're in a job that you really feel so frustrated, and you see this person telling you that everything's going to be wonderful and beautiful, and you're always just going to make money no matter what. Of course it's attractive. So I get that. You're going to want to buy into that. Of course you will. Doesn't say anything bad about you, but, just being real and honest and this is who I am is really going to resonate more with the people who you need to be with.
Yeah, but I have one, like I always, encounter this kind, when I have conversation with people. The first round, I typically have some questions before we get on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want your business to do for you? Like, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people just regurgitated what the sales page tell them. Location freedom, 6-figure business, flexibility, location independence, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
You can sit there and talk to them. So what really, really makes you feel good? And they're like, I love working with people one-on-one. I love talking to people. I want to do really hands-on one-on-one work. Okay, great. So what about that, leverage your time with an online sales funnel with 75 permutation? Where does it fit in?
Right.
I'm not making fun of it. It's just.
No, it's true though.
We are so conditioned by what is successful when you have a business.
Yes.
And a lot of people lose sight of, so what really fills your boat?
Yes, I agree.
How do you structure your business so that, it is fulfilling and you feel like you can put all of you in it? Because when you do that, people can feel your energy. Exactly.
And that's a great point to make, because people try to copy other definitions of success and what they think they're supposed to say and how to get people on board, and based on what they think people want other than what it is that they really want to offer. And a lot of times they're, talk about how much money they make, and I make this much every month and blah, blah, blah. But then they don't really talk about that a lot of that money goes right back out again, because if you've got this empire, you have to pay a lot of people and pay for a lot of systems and services. It's not just that you're just doing it all by yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I think a lot of people don't realize who aren't at that level. It takes a lot to create that at that level. It's not going to happen for free and getting something on Fiverr,
Absolutely. And you know what? Having an empire is not going to may not float your boat.
Yes, I agree. Totally. And that's another excellent point, because, you see a lot where people say, oh, well, women, don't have a business at this size because they don't really want to be there. Not that they don't want to be there, but they make it seem like a failing. And I'm like, well, maybe every woman doesn't want to be at that level. Maybe they have a different desire. Maybe they went into business for a different reason. Mm-hmm. You can't assume everybody wants to be at that same level.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, that's an excellent point to make. So why don't you please share with us where people can find you and your book?
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is business-soulwork.com. Soulwork spells Soulwork, SOULWORK. So you can find me at business-soulwork.com, and you can find the landing page for my book at business-soulwork.com/PB book. PB as in personal branding. So PB book, one word.
Mm-hmm.
And there we'll have a link, to go over to Amazon, but of course, to purchase the book. But of course, I can give you the very, very long Amazon URL with like a whole bunch of numbers and alphabets, that would drive you nuts. So I created the landing page so that you can easily hop over to Amazon to grab the book.
Wonderful. And also, like, if you like, you can email me the link, and I will add it to the blog when I post this show. So those of you who listening to this, you know that you can come to womenentrepreneursecrets.com, and I have the bios there also for the show guests. So that's also a place you can find links as well. So that's an easy way for you to click through and get right to Amazon or to Ling's site, or you can of course just check Amazon from here and search for her name and for her book, and you'll get there as well. So
yeah, absolutely. So if there's any different addition of the going to that landing page, I think it's also good, because if eventually I put out a multimedia pack that will be listed as well. So any updates on the book and any additional channels that it will be available it will be updated.
Great. That's a great idea. So everyone, please make sure that you do that as well. So this has been such a terrific conversation. I'm sure we can go on and on. With it. So, now that we're going to wrap up, are there any final thoughts that you have? Anything we didn't mention, or anything you just want to emphasize?
I think we cover a lot of ground in this conversation today.
Yes.
So I think reading the book will be just a great sum up of what this is all about, and a few practical tips of really how to step up and own your copy and your voice. Disclaimer is that this book, there's no template and no formula and no checklist. It's really about how to find that voice, how to find that solid foundation, so that all those templates and checklists on your hard drive can be put into good use. Because if you cannot have good quality input into these, into these mechanism, marketing is a hamster wheel.
Right. That's so true. And that is very well said. And I know everyone listening will take advantage of the book and check in with Ling's landing page to see what else she has up. Whenever you may listen to this show in the future, definitely stop back by there, because she's going to be adding information and really doing even more and more with this content. So, definitely make sure that you do that. But that's really terrific. I think people are going to learn a lot from this show and from the book. So I want to thank you so much, Ling, for returning again. It's been really a great conversation.
Thank you, Deb. Thanks again for having me.
So everyone, I know you enjoyed it. Please make sure you share it on social media, share it with your friends. And as I said, also stop by Podomatic and also iTunes. And, leave your feedback or review and definitely help other folks to find out about this show as well. So thank you very much in advance for doing that. And also just a quick note, we're also on Patreon now. If you would like to become a VIP supporter for as little as $12 a year. So that's even something really fantastic. So I hope you'll check that out as well. Those links are also womenentrepreneursecrets.com. So once again, it's in Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us. You can also join in the conversation on Facebook.com/WomenEntrepreneurs and on the website, WomenEntrepreneursSecrets.com. And don't forget to listen in on dvcoach.podomatic.com and on iTunes.